Hello, good evening, class. Welcome to today's lecture. Now, on today's lecture, we'll be looking at an interesting topic known as a phrasal verb. Okay, so here, class, we're going to be looking at a phrasal verb as a very interesting concept in the UTME. Now, remember that a phrase would have to do with a combination of words, all right? And then when you have a phrasal verb, it means that this combination would contain a verb in it. I hope that is clear to you. And remember that a phrasal verb refers to a combination of a verb and some other particles, all right? Now, most of these particles are usually adverbs and preposition. So adverbs and prepositions would most likely form this particle. But remember, it has to be a combination of a verb and either an adverb or a preposition. I hope this is clear to you now. Now let's take a look. So here we have a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a combination. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb, all right, and some other particles. Full stop. Examples of these particles. Examples of these particles are adverb and a preposition. So we can have an adverb or a preposition. An adverb or a preposition. So this is particularly the definition of a phrasal verb. So a phrasal verb is a combination of a verb. I need you to underline that. That's a key phrase. That's a verb. And some other particles. Okay? So you can have some other particles. Now, examples of these particles are, can you see, adverb or a preposition. So that means when you combine a verb with an adverb, you most likely will form a phrasal verb. Also, when you combine a verb with a preposition, you will definitely form a phrasal verb. All right, so now in the simplest formula, or the simplest form, you have here verb plus an adverb. Okay, so you form a phrasal verb. Can you see that now as the simplest form? And then verb, okay, VB, that's for verb, to make it quite understandable for you. So VB plus adverb, that's verb plus adverb, will give you if is equals to phrasal verb. Is equals to phrasal verb. So when you combine a verb plus an adverb, all right, it's equals to a phrasal verb. Remember, and then when you combine verb plus preposition, that's prep, okay, so equals to what? A phrasal verb as well too. So this is the simplest method or formula to enable you remember how to form a phrasal verb. I hope you can see that now. So let me take that again. I said a verb plus an adverb would definitely give you a phrasal verb, or a verb plus a preposition would definitely give you a phrasal verb. That's the simplest combination of that. And this particular formula stems from the definition. It stems from the definition. Now, here is the definition. Okay, you have that a phrasal verb is a combination. That is, you have to combine what? You have to combine a verb and some other particles. And what are examples of these particles? Okay, so definitely you have adverb, that's an adverb or a preposition. Those are the particles for you to combine to form a phrasal verb. I hope this is understood, class. Now let's continue. Now, the function of a phrasal verb, is the same as that of an ordinary verb. Can you see that now? So here is a further message or further information. So the function of a phrasal verb, don't forget, the function of a phrasal verb is the same as that of an ordinary verb, as you can see. So it means that what a phrasal verb will connote is also what a verb will represent. Is that taken? And then let's see. Let's take some examples. So here we have examples of a phrasal verb. Examples of phrasal verbs. So let's see. What are those examples of phrasal verb that we need to consider in this class? Okay, we're going to look at a whole lot. But remember I told you that the function a phrasal verb performs is equally the same function that a verb will perform. Okay, so most likely we use phrasal verbs to replace verbs in some sentences. I hope this is clear to you. Now here, imagine when you have example, you have give in, as you can see. All right, look at this. You have give in. So now give is a verb plus in, which is what? A preposition. I hope you agree with me. All right, so the combination of this will give you a phrasal verb. Okay, so you can see a phrasal verb here. How? Because you have give in. Give is the verb. That's the appropriate verb, which is most especially a lexical verb. And then you have plus what? In, which is a preposition. Now, when you combine this verb with this preposition, you will definitely form a phrasal verb. What's the phrasal verb there? That's give in. And what is the equivalent meaning of give in as a single verb? So therefore, you would have what? You would have surrender, okay? So what's surrender here? That's basically an ordinary verb. So which means that if you don't want to use give in as a phrasal verb, you can otherwise use surrender as an ordinary verb. I hope this is clear to you now. So here are examples to further buttress this. So here you can have get rid of. Can you see this now? So get rid of. Okay. So here you have a verb plus another verb. Then you have a preposition. You can see the combination. So when I combine these two verbs plus a preposition, so now what you would have is a phrasal verb as well. Can you see the analysis? And here, to get rid of could mean to eliminate, as you can see. And what's the eliminate aspect of this? This is an ordinary verb. Don't forget. So I hope you can understand the analysis behind this. And let's take more. So if I have round up, okay? So here, round function as a verb, that's V plus prep. Okay, so I'll form a phrasal verb which will mean to capture, okay? Which will mean to capture, or you could otherwise say to arrest, okay? Which could also mean to arrest. But remember that it doesn't mean to conclude, okay? When you round up, okay? It means you're meant to capture or arrest. For example, you can have the criminals were rounded up by the policemen, all right, which definitely means that they were arrested or they were captured by the policemen. Okay, so that's basically the definition to what phrasal verb represents. So we can take many more examples, and I would like you to tell me their ordinary verbs to these words, to these phrasal verbs. So here again, we can have back up. Okay, we can also have bring about. We can also have stand in. We can even have stand out. Can you see? Can you even have put up with? Make do with. Then you can even have this is give up. Can you see? You have 2, 4, 6, and we have 7. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Those 7 phrasal verbs, I'd like you to provide their meanings. I mean, an equivalent verb form for each of these phrasal verb, and then try as much as possible to also tell me what they represent as a verb. For example, giving, here is the analysis. Give is a verb plus in, which is a preposition. So you have the combination of this verb and a preposition will give you a phrasal verb. Then you have get rid of. Okay, so get is a verb, read is a verb, and then of is a preposition. So you have a phrasal verb. Now I need you to also perform an analysis here. Now you have round up, which is round being a verb and up being a preposition. So you have a phrasal verb. And look at their meanings, their equivalent verb meanings, okay? So giving has an equivalent verb meaning, which means surrender. And then get rid of has an equivalent verb meaning, which is eliminate. And round up has an equivalent verb meaning, which is capture or arrest. Now let me make it 8. So here you have round off, okay? So that's making about 8. Now I'd like you to work on this class. Let's see. Yes, you can type it in the chat box. What I just need you to do is, number 1, you're meant to analyze it. How is the analysis done? It's on the board here, as you can see. I did that, which is try to analyze by telling me, for example, what the first word represents according to the part of speech or word class. For example, give represents a verb, plus in represents a preposition. Now, if I combine the verb with the preposition, I'll derive a phrasal verb, all right? And which means surrender as a single verb. Now, I need you to also replicate, yes, I need you to also replicate the same thing in this 8 phrasal verbs that I gave you, all right? So let's see. Yes. Okay. Okay, you can say it out, but I hope you're writing them in your notebook. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so, okay, that's correct. Who else can also try? Let's see. The second part, bring about. You can say it, you can tell me, I'm listening. Remember, we're in a class, so I expect you to make a trial. I'm still waiting. A student has made a good trial with the first aspect. How about the second one? Okay, this is what we'll do. You can pick any one of your choice to analyze and also tell me. Do you understand? Instead of waiting for number 2, you can pick any of your choice. Other students. All right, so let's continue then. Now, here we have, of course, back is a verb okay, plus up, which is a preposition. This will give you a phrasal verb, okay, a phrasal verb, which means to support. To back up will mean to support as an ordinary verb, okay? And then here you have bring about, bring being a verb, plus about, which is a preposition, and definitely this will give you a phrasal verb. And what's the meaning of this phrasal verb? You have cause. Bring about means to cause, that is to necessitate something. All right? Now look at stand in, the same part. You have verb plus preposition, okay? And that will give you a phrasal verb, remember? Okay, so stand in is you trying to say behave, okay? On behalf of somebody, or stand in, or probably we can use replace. That is, you're replacing the person temporarily. Now stand out, stand, which is a verb, plus out, which is a preposition, and then you have a phrasal verb. And the meaning of the phrasal verb, stand out, means to distinguish. To distinguish as a verb. Now put up with, where you have put, a verb, plus preposition, plus another preposition. So what would you have? You would definitely have a phrasal verb. Okay, so put up with as an ordinary verb would be to tolerate. Okay, would be to tolerate. And then make do with. So make here is a verb, plus do, which is also a verb. With you have as a preposition. So this combination would give us a phrasal verb, remember? Okay, so to make do with is to use, all right, which is an ordinary verb as well too. Now remember, give up. Now give is a verb, plus up, which is a preposition. And then when you combine a verb plus a preposition, you will derive a phrasal verb. And the meaning of this phrasal verb, to give up here, would also mean to surrender, okay? So that tells you that it is very possible for you to have two phrasal verbs, okay? That means two phrasal verbs that mean exactly the same, okay? So if you have two phrasal verbs like give up and give in, all right, they could represent just the same meaning. So you can use them interchangeably. That is, in a case where you don't want to use give up, you can use give in. And if you don't want to use give in, you can as well use give up. So both of them represent the same thing. And they have just a single verb that functions for both. Okay? They have just a single verb that functions for both of them. Now, here, look at this. You have round. Round here, you have a verb plus what? Of. That's a preposition. So what would you generate? You would definitely generate what? A phrasal verb. Can you see? And then round off means to conclude. Okay? To conclude. Can you see what I've done here? This is exactly what I expect you to do. I hope you can see the board, class. So this is exactly what I expect you to do. I need you to replicate what has been done here, all right, by analyzing and telling us the single verb that represents each phrasal verb. Because each phrasal verb would have a single verb that replicates it. I hope this is understood, class. Now, the next one that I would like you to do, since you already know the phrasal verb, I'll need you to make a sentence. That's the next classwork that I need you to do. I want you to make a sentence with each of these phrasal verb. Already, you know their meanings. I mean, the single verb that it represents. So since you know that, I need you to make a sentence. Now you have about 8, 2, 4, 6, and you have 8. So you have 8 phrasal verbs. So let's see if you can illustrate sentences using this phrasal verb. The essence of illustrating sentences is to tell you that, oh, how well do you understand the uses of this phrasal verb? So it enables you to make use of this phrasal verb in your interaction with sentences. So let's see. How can you make sentences with these phrasal verbs? So because there are 8 of them here, so let's see how you can make sentences. So you can use backup. Remember what it means? It means to support. So in a place where you want to write support, you can simply replace it with backup. All right. Now where you have cause, you can replace it with bring about, which equally means the same thing. I hope you understand that now. So that's how each of them should be used. I hope you understand. So let's see. Take a classwork in sentences. Let me write out the instruction for you so you could know what to do. So here you have drill. So illustrate each of the phrasal verb illustrate each of the phrasal verbs in a sentence. Can you see that now? So illustrate each of the phrasal verbs. So each of these phrasal verbs, I need you to illustrate them in a sentence. Okay, so let's see. Please, you can type it out. I'll see it in the comment box. You can type it out. Let's see. So I'm reading your chat. So just send it in the comment box or in the comment section. This particular classwork. Illustrate each phrasal verbs in a sentence. Let's see. All right, can you back up? The minister asked Mr. Daniel, I had to make do with the ingredients even though it was not enough. Good, Dorcas. Owoseni. Please send in more responses so that we know you're participating. So enhance more of your knowledge on these phrasal verbs. So let's see. The first one, that's number 1 here. Now remember that